Let's talk about how to protect your bank account from identity theft. So here is a bird's eye view I want you to really think about. So when we talk about protecting your bank account from ID theft, it's important to understand that this is not a phenomenon. This is actually a widespread sort of trend, unfortunately. So can someone steal your identity with your bank account number? That's the answer is yes. Okay, so basically you can have bank employees actually, you can have fake bank employees actually lying to you and asking you to provide your personal information. In other words, you have individual scammers that is actually posing as bank employees and asking for your data. Now, so who is most at risk of bank fraud and identity theft? Well, fraud can happen to anyone, but some groups are, based on our research, are more vulnerable than others. And so, let me give you an example. So, if you are young people are vulnerable. People aged 18 to 29 are more likely to become victims of identity theft compared to other age groups. Why? Because young people, especially those in the Gen Z age group, have grown up as digital natives, so they are more comfortable with e commerce and social media. They are therefore more likely to share personal information online, right? You also have older people, so older people lose more. So while young people are more likely to become victims, older victims of identity theft lose more money. This is an important element because they don't have appropriate control over their finances or over their financial accounts. Because older adults tend to have more savings and assets, making them valuable targets for fraud. Also, many older people can be lonely, trusting, and less tech savvy, which makes them more susceptible to scams. So this is something to really think about. So bottom line is that you have the ability to actually be a victim of identity theft. And we have also seen in our researches that men are more likely to be scammed than women. Okay, so and the results, our survey results indicate younger men are more vulnerable to scams. So if you're listening to me right now, you're a young man, and you want to take your precautions. That's really important. The bottom line is identity thieves do not discriminate. If your banking information is in the wrong hands, you could be a victim. So this is an important thing to think about. Let me give you now a few steps to protect your bank account from identity thefts. The first thing you want to do is you want to systematically, I want to insist on that word. You want to use systematically strong, unique passwords. And so that's really cool. So basically, if don't use the same password for multiple online accounts. While this might make it easier to remember your passwords, it's really a hasty practice that leaves you exposed to breaches. Instead, you want to create strong passwords that are harder to guess. So what you want to do is you want to avoid personal information such as your name, address, or date of birth. You want to choose longer passwords, opting for phrases rather than single words. You want to include numbers and special characters like exclamation marks or asterisks. You want to use a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, and avoid common sequences like 1, 2, 3. Like you really want to really make sure that your password is not easily guessable. That's an important element to think about. And one thing I also want to say here is that you also want to don't actually discount security questions. Security questions are a common identity authentication step that enables users to set up questions and secret answers to manage access to online accounts. And while this process is often reserved for password recovery services, you can also use the security questions to actually provide an additional security layer on your logins. For example, you can apply this to social media platforms to protect valuable information such as your full name, date of birth, for instance, and address and phone number. Next, you want to enable multi-factor authentication across accounts, so MFA accounts. So multi-factor authentication is really an electronic authentication method that requests several independent authentication factors before granting users access to an application or website. And sometimes called two-factor authentication, 2FA. This security method actually provides extra protection for your online banking information. So what happens is that after you enter your login details, the app will conduct a second security check. So that's really good. For instance, You can have a code being sent to your mobile phone, which you must confirm on the app. An automated call comes through to verify your identity, and you also have, in some cases, a visual check to help you identify, for instance, the correct image, like with CAPTCHA. Then you also have you want to practice safe browsing. So if you are trying to protect your bank account from identity theft, you want to really practice safe browsing. Let me break it down for you. The thing is that there are nearly 300 to 400 million internet users in the U.S. and the big majority of them are using mobile internet. However, many people don't take adequate precautions to protect their identity, which really exposes them to malware and nefarious hackers. And so safe browsing helps protect against the three most common threats online. So you have phishing, drive-by malware, and you have harmful downloads. So this is kind of cool. Next, I want you to be aware of to be cautious about phishing and smishing attempts. So phishing emails purport to be from reputable companies and are designed to trick people into sharing sensitive information like credit card numbers and other personal credit details. And in recent years, this scam has evolved from email to SMS text, known as a smishing. So the thing is that this is kind of bad because when a thief obtains your personal information through phishing or smishing scams, you can really fall victim to identity theft or financial fraud, right? So what you want to do is you want to understand the signs of these scams so that you can protect your personal information and stop thieves from accessing your bank accounts. Next, you want to always assume public Wi-Fi's are not secure. Let me break it down for you. Why? Public Wi-Fi spots make it very easy to access the internet just about anywhere, from coffee shops to libraries and airports to hotels. But these convenient connections have an insecure trapdoor. Hackers could be watching all the time. And so if you are on a public Wi-Fi, take the following steps to protect your information. So what you want to do is you want to use a VPN. For instance, you can use a VPN to encrypt your data as you browse. Ensure that you only visit secure websites displaying HTTPS in the URL access, in the URL address. You are generally safer on these websites, although some scam sites can mimic an HTTPS connection. And avoid logging into email and online banking accounts. If you must use these services, you want to switch to mobile data instead of using public hotspots. Mobile data is already encrypted, which is a safer choice if you are entering login details for sensitive accounts. Next, you want to set up automatic software updates. So software vulnerabilities present a chance for hackers to exploit your system and potentially install malware or steal valuable data. And the thing is that you want to really be sure that you are updated. So if you don't have automatic updates and delay taking actions with manual updates, for instance, you could be exposed really big time to a breach. So you want to make sure that you are setting up automatic updates a lot faster. You also want to install browser security add-ons and plugins. So browser security extensions actually protect your device by doing a lot of things. Let me break it down for you. So you're able to scan websites for malicious code, block intrusive ads, and protect your online privacy. And those security add-ons or plugins are simple additions, whether you use Chrome, Bing, Firefox, or another browser. You also want to make the most of your bank's security features. Again, we are speaking about protecting your bank account from identity theft. So you want to rely mostly on the bank's security features. And the cool thing is that banks generally offer a standard, banks and by extension, credit unions generally offer a standard credit features like spending limits, push notifications, and additional MFA security to prevent unauthorized access. MFA, multi-factor authentication, I just spoke about that. So the cool thing is that spending limits stop you from overspending online and prevent hackers from ruthlessly draining your account. And bank alerts notify you about unusual activity or changes to your account status, such as a low balance, large purchase, or profile charges. And those real-time updates are available on Android and iOS mobile devices. So you can use your online banking app to stay on top of things. So that's really good. So it's one of those things where you want to really do it now, because if you have any troubles setting your desired security feature, you want to contact your bank by calling the customer service number on the back of your debit card. Next, you want to make diligent peer-to-peer payments. So peer-to-peer transactions, P2P, are basically electronic money transfers that one person sends to another via an intermediary payment application. So you have a middleman. And although P2P systems encrypt your financial information, some have been hijacked by scammers. So what you want to do is you never want to send money to someone you haven't met. Confirm the phone number or username of the recipient before sending money. Always use MFA, like facial recognition or a PIN. You want to keep your P2P apps updated to have the latest protection and security features. You want to switch on transaction alerts to get instant notifications about any account activity. And one thing we want to say also is that you want to link your credit card to the P2P app instead of to your debit card, right? And never let strangers borrow your phone. So the bottom line is that when we talk about actually protecting your bank account from identity theft, it's all about you taking measures beforehand. You got to take measures primarily. So next thing you want to do is you want to safeguard your financial records. So when we talk about safeguarding your financial records, I'm talking about name and address, social security number, email addresses, credit card and bank account information, as well as employment history as well. So that's really an important element to think about. And also the next thing you want to do if you are trying to protect your bank account from identity theft is that you want to know how your bank might reach you. So when you know more about your bank's procedures for communication, you'll be able to tell if someone is scamming you. So what you want to do is you want to know that banks rarely call you directly. Instead, they will send you a direct mail or text messages. They'll never ask you to share personal information such as debit card numbers or credit card numbers. Banks will never ask you to reveal your online banking password or PIN. And they will also never ask you to transfer money into quote unquote a safe account, right? So I mean, the bank has all the info. Why would they want you to transfer money into a safe account? So when you have those sort of shenanigans coming from third-party scammers, you know those are big-time scammers. Next thing you want to do is you want to learn more about credit freezes and fraud alerts, right? Now, credit freezes and fraud alerts are security measures that help prevent unauthorized access to your credit file. So a fraud alert is really a real-time notification that lets you know about suspicious credit inquiries, like if someone tried to obtain a credit card or loan in your name. And a credit lock blocks all access to your credit history so that, and that's a good thing. So nobody can open a new account in your name, not even you, right? So nobody's trying to play games with your account in the first place. And a credit freeze seals your credit history until you thaw. It's called thaw your credit or remove the freeze. So what you want to do is you want to contact any one of the 3 credit bureaus to request a fraud alert, credit freeze, or credit lock. So all those 3 credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion. And with a fraud alert, the credit reporting agency you contact must inform the other 2 bureaus to place a fraud alert on your credit reports. And with a credit lock or credit freeze, you need to contact all 3 bureaus individually. And one thing I want to say also is that to place actually a freeze, you want to provide your full name, date of birth, address history for the past 2 years, and your social security number. You also have to contact the bureaus again to lift the credit freeze. So you can see that the credit freeze is really more stringent than the credit lock. And you also want to maintain an emergency contacts list. Let me break it down for you. So if a thief steals your wallet or takes over your bank account, you will need to act fast to prevent them from racking up or credit card charges, right? Especially when it comes to racking up debt with fraudulent credit cards and loans. An emergency contact list will help you react quickly to limit the damage to your financial accounts. So how do you do it? Well, you want to create a contact list that includes the following information: your account details, including account numbers, also your bank's address and customer service phone number. And so the phone numbers also for the three credit reporting bureaus are also important. So for Equifax, we have 1-800-525-6285. We're going to put these numbers on the screen so you know exactly what we're talking about. So Equifax 1-800-525-6285. Experian 1-888-397-3742. And TransUnion 1-800-680-7289. So that's really about it for you to really protect your bank account from identity theft. Let me close to this conversation by saying that the banks do have a system in place to protect against identity theft, but you always want to go a little further, right? Many American banks, and we're really lucky to have that, they have advanced security features with automation and artificial intelligence technology to protect their customers' personal data and finances. So let me give you a few of the key features that can help protect your bank account. So you have a bank account validation. You have automated fraud detection systems. You have real-time account checking. You have identity document capture. And you have biometric verification. Let me go a little further. So bank account validation. So this verification feature ensures that only accurate data is captured, such as correct names, addresses, and credit card numbers. So with this step, banks can prevent data entry errors and rejections in payment processing. Automated fraud detection systems have actually predictive and analytics and AI at their core, making them effective at monitoring your spending patterns over time. And this makes it a lot easier to identify unusual transactions that could be fraudulent. You also have a real-time account check-in that allows banks to verify that users already have access to the account in question. So what happens here is that you must confirm recent or date-specific transactions before employees assist you. You also can identify document capture that really this is a process that enables banks to authenticate a customer's identity documents digitally in real time. And you have biometric verification that identifies people through unique biological identifiers such as fingerprints, voices, or faces. And this is really fair. This is really stricter. Now, if you were the victim of a bank scam, you want to act now, right? So you want to freeze your accounts. You want to place a fraud alert and request a free credit reports. You want to check your bank statements for unexplained activity. You want to report the scam to authorities, and you want to change your online banking passwords. You also have to notify other related parties so that you can really sort of thaw, if you will, you can limit the extent of the damage. And so you always have the possibility there. Now, the thing I want to say here is that if the scam was ever linked to a P2P app, peer-to-peer app, gift card, or a digital banking service, you want to report the fraud to the appropriate customer service department so they can really take the appropriate actions, and they can do it like really fast. And you also can actually submit a fraud report to the FTC and file a police report with local police. So for the FTC, if you want to file the FTC reports, you can go on report.fraud.ftc.gov. And for additional support, you can contact 1-877-ID-THEFT. So 1-877-438-4338. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. Today we talk about how to protect your bank account from identity theft. I'll give you the bird's eye view and also the steps you need to follow. And finally, the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.